Happy Monday, everybody. It's Monday. It's an awesome day. It's an awesome rainy day. And we have such drama today. We're doing Lady Caroline Lamb, who had a scandalous life. Hey, okay. So, Lady Caroline Lamb. Just checking. Lady Caroline Lamb was drama. You can actually check out some biographical videos on YouTube of her. Under fair use, I might play a snippet or two today as we work because it was scandal. And there's a lot on her. There's a movie that came out in the 70s with Richard Chamberlain called Lady Caroline Lamb. Okay. Let me get my head out of the gutter here. She was... Let's get my head out of the gutter because all I want to talk about is drama. She was an English writer from 1785 to 1828. And she was aristocratic. I'll read a little bit to you. Let me read. Let's hit up what we usually do, Wikipedia. But I want you to listen to it. We can listen to something. Let me find a good little YouTube that I can just play a snippet of because it might be fun to listen to somebody telling us about her. You know what I mean? Instead of me reading and trying to draw at the same time. Lady Caroline Lamb biography. I wasn't really prepared for this. Okay, here's some of the YouTube videos. The Dark Obsession of Lady Caroline Lamb. History's most infamous ex-girlfriend. Pen of Steel. Lady Caroline Lamb's Life and Loves. So, you get a sense, the dark side of romance. Lord Byron and Lady Caroline's... Did it say scandalous? Because it's scandalous. Scandalous affair. So, I mean, kind of fascinating. Because there's a lot of scandal in these writers that I'm finding that there's a lot of... Get my words. I haven't had coffee yet. Please forgive me. There's a lot of scandals that we have come across. This one has been very much in the, on the history YouTube. On the history YouTube. Let's see. Let us listen to a little bit. And this is History Roadshow I'm going to play. I didn't listen to this previously. I don't think there's going to be any swear words in it.
In the opulent and glittering ballrooms of Regency-era England, that left an indelible mark on the world around her.
Okay, hold on. Maybe not. First... Before we do anything like that, let's look at our quotes. So, hey, that's me and my great aunt Edie. Let's go to... Here we go. So, I have a quote that I like. I looked up some more quotes of hers. In addition to the ones that I have on the posts tab, I thought Nature Formed Me Fierce was one that I really liked. It's few words. It's imagery that is very easy. I can do trees and branches and things like that. So, and I have plenty of reference material for that. So I thought I would do Nature Forms Me Fierce. And while I do that, we can do a little listening to a little bit of a Lady Caroline Lamb biography. Yeah, let's go to the Wikipedia. Did I Wikipedia her? I thought I did. Here we go. Lady Caroline Lamb. Let's read a little about her. Sorry I'm all over the map today. I haven't had my coffee yet. And I was so tired last night that I went to bed at like 7. And I didn't go to sleep automatically. You know. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast or a YouTube commentary video and go to sleep. Or just like half sleep until I fall asleep. But you know, there's so much good commentary on the new Taylor Swift record that I just I've been listening to a lot of that junk. Sorry. That's the truth. And some of it is extremely entertaining when people are listening to her record for the first time, and it's very funny. Anyway. Okay, let's do Lady Caroline Lamb. A little chat here. Lady Caroline Lamb, née Ponsonby, 13 November 1785 through 25 January, I don't like it when they do that, January 25th, 1828, was an Anglo-Irish aristocrat and novelist, best known for Glenarvan, a Gothic novel. In 1812, she had an affair with Lord Byron, whom she described as mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Cheers. Her husband was the Honourable William Lamb, who after her death became 2nd Viscount Melbourne and British Prime Minister. Family background. Lamb was the only daughter of Frederick Ponsonby, 3rd Earl of Bessborough, an Anglo-Irish peer, and Henrietta Countess of Bessborough. She was known as the Honourable Caroline Ponsonby. Blah, 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 blah. Do I care about this part? I'll read it. She was known as the Honourable Caroline Ponsonby until her father succeeded to the earldom in 1793. I don't know how much of this I'm going to retain. While her brother, Frederick Ponsonby, was severely injured in the Battle of Waterloo, in the days after the battle, she had an affair with the Duke of Wellington. She was related to other leading society ladies and was the niece of Georgiana Cavendish, Duchess of Devonshire, and cousin by marriage of Annabella Lady Byron. She was related to Sarah Ponsonby, one half of the ladies of Llangollen, and Diana, Princess of Wales. Okay, interesting. That I can connect because I was alive when Princess of Wales was alive, Diana. She was never Viscountess Melbourne because she died before Melbourne succeeded to the peerage. Okay. All right, let's start doing our artwork. Oh, well, okay. Drama. Relationship with Lord Byron. Let's, do I want to read this? I found a really good YouTube called History Expose, and now I can't find, oh, here it is, History Expose. Let's see. I want to listen to it a little bit with you because, okay, here we go. Because it's good.
On the young Carolyn, whose weaker disposition
it's
was
really
not.
to the point.
Before there was Bridgerton, there was Lady Caroline Lamb. Lady Caroline was a beautiful and envied high society woman who ended up having one of the most disastrous affairs in history, and even becoming a social outcast. When Lady Caroline met the famous Lord Byron, their affair started off well enough, but it would end ruinously. After Lord Byron cruelly left Lady Caroline, she would send him a present in the mail. When he opened it, he was horrified, and his blood would run cold. But more on this later on. Lady Caroline Lamb, originally known as Caroline Ponsonby, was born on November 13th, 1785. She was the only daughter of Frederick and Henrietta Ponsonby, the Earl and Countess of Bessborough. As a child, she had a very frail disposition and even nearly perished from an illness involving worms. As she grew up, she would of course spend time running around and playing with her upper-class cousins. However, being a rather sickly child, she soon picked up the scandalous habit of taking opiates such as laudanum to cope with her ailments. Despite her problems, as she entered her teenage years, she would blossom into an extremely beautiful young woman. Her aristocratic family, with its enormous and high connections, had no doubt that their daughter Caroline would land herself an excellent marriage. That is why, at the young age of 19, she married the Honorable William Lamb, a man from an equally aristocratic family and with great political ambitions. The marriage was a happy one, with both partners liking one another. However, little did she know, but her mother-in-law despised her from the very beginning. Things started off well, but that would soon change. Caroline became pregnant shortly after the wedding, but sadly, the child would be stillborn. This event was very hard on the young couple. Yet, despite their hardships, they still tried for another child. This was difficult on the young Caroline, whose weaker disposition was not the most suited to the rigors of pregnancy and labor, and her body took a long time to recover. They finally gave birth to a son named George in 1807, as well as a premature daughter in 1809, who died very quickly. Unfortunately for Caroline, these pregnancies took a heavy ordeal on her body, leaving her severely weakened. Things did not become easier when the couple realized that their son George, unfortunately, had mental disabilities, causing them significant distress. Not wanting to send her son to an institution, which was common practice in this era, Lady Caroline kindly insisted on caring for her son at home, a decision which would put stress on her marriage. Despite being a young woman, the stresses in Caroline's life affected her greatly. Her ailing health, her son's challenges, and her husband's ambition for political power were a lot to handle for the young Lady Caroline. The added fact that her mother-in-law despised her and made her life difficult did not help. In addition, her husband's siblings seemed to take after them.
One sec.
Seemed to take after them.
Okay, just wanted to check. Okay,
Mother, and
back.
did not like Caroline either, often cruelly calling her the little beast. With all these
That's
troubles
mean.
in her life, it was no surprise that she would soon find herself embroiled in an affair. In 1812, at the young age of 26, she would meet the dashing and infamous poet, Lord Byron,
Lord
someone
Byron.
with a reputation for seducing women wherever he went.
Uh-oh.
His attention soon fell on Lady Caroline herself.
Uh-oh.
Byron was immediately smitten with Caroline. However, at first, she ignored his advances, calling Byron mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Despite this, her attitude would change after reading some of his poetry, and she reached out to him with a letter. In response, Byron went straight for her, visiting her in person, and within a few days, their affair was in full swing. Their relationship was tumultuous from the very beginning. They would play games with each other, criticizing each other publicly, and then sneaking off together in private. They were both infatuated with each other. Byron soon gave her a pet name, calling her Caro. He famously called her the cleverest, most agreeable, absurd, amiable, perplexing, dangerous, fascinating little being that lives now or ought to have lived 2,000 years ago. Their intense obsession with each other nearly propelled them into the realm of bigamy, the act of being married to two partners at the same time.
Bigamy was
Caroline's
hot.
desperation reached such heights that she implored Lord Byron to marry her, despite the inconvenient fact that that she was already married to William. This reckless proposition
I don't understand how
shows
bigamy was so
infatuated
hot.
she was with him. Had they actually gone ahead, the consequences would have been nothing short of scandalous. Oddly enough, Lord Byron was very good friends with Carolyn's mother-in-law, the very one who hated her so much. When she found out about Carolyn's affair, she would put all her efforts into ruining it. She made sure that her son, Carolyn's husband William, would be promptly informed. However, despite William and Carolyn's strained relationship and this new revelation about Carolyn's extramarital affair, William was not incredibly bothered and did not divorce her. However,
The drama does not end. And it only gets worse.
unfortunately for Carolyn, Byron soon tired of her, breaking things off in the August of 1812 after only half a year together. Little did Carolyn know, but one of the reasons Lord Byron dumped her was that he was very in debt and was searching for a rich woman to marry who would solve his financial troubles. After Lord Byron left her, Lady Carolyn was seen as a bit of a social
He needed a sugar mama.
pariah in the eyes of high society, something of damaged goods. And in case you're wondering, Byron's reputation didn't really suffer at all. To help her as best he could, Carolyn's husband, William, sent her off to Ireland in order that she might recuperate better in peace and quiet. Lady Carolyn, being all alone and cooped up in Ireland, would end up not being able to get over her ex-lover. She ended up writing letters to Byron. These he would reply to, and so starting correspondence between them. However, despite their correspondence, when Carolyn returned to London in 1813 and sought Byron out, he let her know that in no uncertain terms they were done.
Wow. Emotional affair. Letters. And now he's just letting her know. Okay.
Carolyn also soon realized that Byron was already in a relationship with someone else,
Big
the
surprise.
Countess of Oxford.
Big surprise there.
To add insult to injury, Byron cruelly began to insult Carolyn, both publicly and privately. He complained that
So, remember back when they were a cordon? They would insult each other in public. So this is maybe, already the die was already cast, and then that was just like, hey, let's take it to the next level, and I'll really mean it this time, So that's pretty cruel.
he was haunted by a skeleton, which was referring to Lady Carolyn's weight loss and diminished appearance. In particularly complained that he was haunted by a skeleton
I'm backing
insult to
up.
injury.
Backing up a little
Carolyn
bit.
also soon realized that Byron was already in a relationship with someone else, the Countess of Oxford. To add insult to injury, Byron cruelly began to insult Carolyn, both publicly and privately. He complained that he was haunted by a skeleton, which was referring to Lady Carolyn's weight loss
Ooh.
and diminished appearance. In a particularly dramatic incident during a ball to honor the Duke of Wellington, Byron had the audacity to insult Carolyn in front of all her peers.
Ooh.
In response to this, Carolyn hugely overreacted and caused a major scene. This incident did not help Carolyn's image at all, with many unfairly assuming that she only did this for attention. The situation would take a darker turn when Carolyn's obsession with Byron escalated to the point where she began to stalk him. Her relentless pursuit led her to even dressing up in various disguises in an attempt to gain entry to his residence. This
Wow.
behavior highlights the lengths to which she was willing to go to maintain a connection with Byron. In 1815, Carolyn, still unable to move past her relationship with Byron, was devastated upon hearing the news that Byron had married a wealthy heiress named Annabella Milbank. This was a painful blow to Carolyn, exacerbating her feelings of loss and rejection. The marriage not only marked the end of any lingering hopes she might have harbored, but also intensified the sense of betrayal and heartbreak that had long plagued her. Just like Carolyn, Byron's new marriage did not end up going very smoothly. However, barely a year into the marriage, Annabella left with their newborn daughter, Byron not exactly having been a very good husband. This, combined with Byron's excessive debts and rumors that he had even slept with his own half-sister, led him to becoming a social pariah, just as had happened to Carolyn. In disgrace, he would flee the country. In 1816, in an act of revenge, Lady Carolyn published a novel titled Glenarvan. Although it was presented as a work of fiction, the novel very transparently revealed many secrets from her tumultuous affair with Lord Byron.
Ooh.
This bold move.
That's one to look up on LibriVox, because there might be a free listen of that book there.
Would shock society. Although the book was published anonymously, the writing was so thinly disguised that it was clear it had been written by Carolyn. One of the aristocratic women in the novel who was ridiculed, the Countess of Jersey, upon finding out what was written, made sure that all of Carolyn's memberships to exclusive clubs were revoked. This time, she was truly out. However, for Carolyn, it wasn't all bad. Her book was a huge success, and shortly afterwards, she struck up another affair, this time with the famous Duke of Wellington.
Okay. It sounds like she became like a scandal writer with thinly veiled fiction about her situation. And people were interested in reading her scandal. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. Okay, I'm back.
Fresh off of his victory over Napoleon,
Let's back up a little bit.
was a huge success, and shortly afterwards, she struck up another affair, this time with the famous Duke of Wellington, fresh off of his victory over Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. Over the years, Carolyn and Byron engaged in a rather toxic pattern of behavior, frequently alluding to each other in their writings. These references were far from friendly, often laden with bitterness and resentment. In 1824, Lord Byron
I pegged it.
Fell ill and tragically passed away while in Greece.
Ooh.
The news of his death
Wait a
was
minute, let's back up.
devastating at the Battle of Waterloo.
Back up a little bit.
Over the years, Carolyn and Byron engaged in a rather toxic pattern of behavior, frequently alluding to each other in their writings. These references were far from friendly, often laden with bitterness and resentment. In 1824, Lord Byron fell ill and tragically passed away while in Greece. The news of his death was devastating for Carolyn, and she reportedly fell ill herself upon learning of his demise. During Byron's funeral procession, her distress overwhelmed her, and she collapsed dramatically in public. Byron's death seemed to be the final straw for Carolyn's well-being.
Wow.
Her behavior would become erratic. She would have fits of rage and break things, or ride her horse crazily around town. She even stopped caring about her appearance, showing up to engagements entirely messy and unkempt. Throughout all this drama, Carolyn's husband William still remained by her side, refusing his family's wishes that he divorce his wife and leave her for good. However, it was actually Carolyn who finally suggested a divorce in the end. After leaving William, things only went downhill for Carolyn. She took up residence in a new place called Brockton Hall. It was during this time that she became an alcoholic, as well as addicted to laudanum, the opiate that she had used as a child for her health issues. By 1827, at the age of 41, Carolyn's health was very poor, and she was even under the full-time supervision of a doctor, as she was suffering from edema, a buildup of fluid in the tissues. Near the end of her life, it appeared that Lady Carolyn was finally able to let go of her obsessive attachment to Lord Byron. Instead, her thoughts turned to her ex-husband, William Lamb. Reflecting on their relationship, she remarked, "He is the only person who has never failed me." In a final gesture of reconciliation, Lady Carolyn requested that William visit her one last time. Demonstrating his dutiful character and sense of duty, William traveled all the way from his post in Ireland just to be by her side. Their reunion was brief and bittersweet, as Lady Carolyn passed away just a few days after William's arrival. She was only 42. William's presence in Carolyn's final days provided her with a sense of comfort and solace. Her ex-husband went on to have an immensely successful political career, ultimately rising to the position of Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in 1835. This achievement marked a significant milestone in British politics. Sadly, Carolyn would never witness this remarkable accomplishment or what their life together could have been had things turned out differently. Lady Carolyn had lived a tumultuous life. She struggled with so many difficulties and had many flaws with her erratic and scandalous behavior, though she was rather unfairly maligned for her struggles with mental health, something that was not well understood in the 19th century. Despite how her behavior was judged and how we may judge her today, none of it can excuse the creepiest thing she ever did. Shortly after Byron left her, Carolyn got a very strange idea. She decided to give Byron a present to remember her by, but the present she gave him was utterly disturbing.
Oh no.
Byron, while living abroad, opened the box and found a note from Carolyn professing her continued love for him. Below the note was a lock of hair. Shockingly, it was not hair from her head. Instead, it had been plucked from downstairs, and gruesomely enough, the hairs were still bloody. What she was thinking when she did this, we will never know. But it is a very strange way to declare your love for someone.
Oh my god.
I hope you enjoyed this video.
I
and
did.
If you did, please give us a like
Hey.
and subscribe.
Hey, yes. I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna subscribe. Let's subscribe. I wanna turn on device. Okay, I'll do that later. Thumbs up. And it's called History Expose. Check him out. History Expose. Wow, that was drama. That was super drama. Her life was even more dramatic than that. She, something that wasn't in that was that she had a child who was mentally debilitated or mentally ill. Something. I don't know. Let's see. She had a child that was mentally... Wikipedia. Is it in Wikipedia? Her son was born with severe mental problems. Although most aristocratic families typically send such relatives to institutions, the Lambs cared for their son at home until his eventual death in 1836, 8 years after Lady Caroline's death. Oh, okay. The stress of their son's ill health combined with William Lamb's consuming career ambitions drove a wedge between the couple. Cheers. A further difficulty was that William's siblings all detested Carolyn, whom they called the Little Beast, and she and her mother-in-law had hated each other from the start. Their lifelong enmity was reportedly a great cause of unhappiness to Caroline. Wow, devastating. So that's a lot of drama. That is a dramatic life, if I ever heard one. I definitely want to listen to more. There's a movie. It's called Lady Caroline Lamb. And I think it came out in 1972. Let's see. Yeah, 1972 romance drama. Growing bored with her class said, hey, can I get Siri to read? Oh, 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. Excellent. Tragic, melodramatic, and bleak. Ooh, movies about Byron, too. Lord Byron. Who is this? Johnny Lee Miller plays Lord Byron. I remember this. When did this come out? In the 90s, probably? Cheers. All right, let's write our quote in now because we have come to that time in the program where we can write our quote in. Let's see. Nature formed me fierce. Let's do a little bit more. I want to do give it a little more shape, right? We're almost done. Okay, I think this is good. I don't want to do more on this because I won't stop. Because I will just keep going and going. Let's see, a few little flourishes here. There we go. And I will be back today at 12:30 to do my page a day of Night Garden Fairy Cats. So do please come back for that if you are so inclined. And I hope you enjoyed this one today. I'm ready to go listen to some more I'm ready to go listen to some more on Lady Caroline Lamb. Some of these writers. And what is with all the bigamy? I mean, how did they just not keep records? That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if back then they didn't have like records for marriages, and it was just, that must be what it is, because how else could people, and why else would it be like a thing? Why else would it be a thing to get, you know, married to more than one person? Number one, the legal stuff they must have not had, like paperwork and city hall and all this. But then also, it's just like, I don't get it. It's fascinating. Something to study, right? Something to Google, something else to Google. So I hope to see you at 12:30, and if not, I will be back tomorrow right here, same bat time, same bat channel, and we will be doing, one moment, and we will be doing Eleanor Scott. Eleanor Scott tomorrow. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming. I hope you enjoyed this. I will do a last little. So this was really just fun doodles, basically, and listening to a YouTube video. And that is History Expose, is that channel. So definitely go subscribe and listen to some of their awesome Because I'm gonna do that. That's what I'm doing. Hold on. Did I? There we go. History expose. Follow and like, and I will too. All right. Have a great day, and if you're around, I'll see you at 12:30. If not, I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern for Eleanor Scott. Bye.